Today I'm making a DIY raised bed out of this scrap sheet of roofing metal. This is what it's going to look like. I did this one last year and I really liked the way it turned out, so I figured I'd make another one. You can cut this with a grinder, saw, whatever you have. I'm doing it the hard way because I want a really clean edge, so I'm just going to score it a bunch of times with a utility knife and snap it off. I cut this rusty piece off. I'm going to use this as my straight edge. I got to work on the ground right now because it's really windy out. So I'll just lay this down where I want to cut, and I'll probably score this about 8 times. Once I've scored this enough times, I can just snap it off. It's kind of a tedious way of doing it, but it's like a factory edge. And these are going to be my sidewalls. I leave about a 1/4 inch at the top there in case I decide to put a rubber edging on it. I got all my sidewalls done. This thing's going to be 6 foot long by 2 foot 4 inches wide. Now I'm going to make my outside corners for this. I'm just going to use some of the leftover scrap here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this along the outsides of these ridges. All the rest of the cuts I do on this, I'm just going to do with my snips. Got my corners made. I just put these in a bench vise to bend them. Now I'm going to start putting this thing together. I got some screws here. They're green, but that's not a big deal. I can paint them. I'm not paying for a single thing here. This is all leftover material that my neighbor gave me. Just a screw in the top and the bottom, and then we'll do that on all 4 corners. I got my sides put together, but there's a lot of sharp edges on these corners here, so I gotta make some caps for those. For my caps, I'm just using the scraps that I cut off my corner pieces. I just make my 90-degree angle there, and I leave an inch extra on each side. Then I just bend the sides down like this, and I mark here where I'm gonna be cutting that off. So that's a finished cap. I also snip these back edges off here so I don't have any sharp edges, and then those are made to fit right above my screws there. And I'm gonna rivet these on. And that's the finished corner with the cap. Last thing I gotta do is get a strap across the middle so it doesn't bow out when I fill it with soil. So I just found this piece of metal in my garage I made a strap out of. Got my strap in the middle. This bed is done. Now it's time to move it to its new home. This is gonna go right between the hot tub and the garage, and this is gonna be one of our new cut flower beds.